Okay, thank you for joining us for our lightning talk, Unified Defense, Lumen, and ThreatX. We have our two speakers today, Brian Dolan, Specialized Security Strategist at Lumen, and Neil Weitzel, Director of Security Operations at ThreatX. So take it away, Brian and Neil.
All right, thanks, Molly. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for attending our lightning talk with our partnership. We're calling it Better Together with ThreatX, right? So this is a unified defense approach to our DDoS hyper, which is controlled in our control center at a basically a customer level, right? The ability to spin up DDoS mitigation service while you're under an attack is actually very much a differentiator. And the ability to do that instead of actually waiting weeks in minutes and being able to do it on your own. And if you're looking to hit that easy button and to add a WAF, manage API protection, you're doing that with ThreatX, our partner, right? So it gives you that capability, and it's really going to protect your circuit, right? If you think about Lumen, we have basically the largest ASN, global footprint, right? Part of that, we're seeing more, we're stopping more. How we're doing that is our Black Lotus Labs threat intelligence arm and our rapid threat defense that we have, part of that, scrubbing centers and so on and so forth. Now, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Based on the cyber attacks that we know are out there today, AI is continuing to do bad things, DNS water tortures, multi-vector attacks, DDoS, denial of service, you name it, bot attacks of all kinds, C2. And what we're doing, we're actually using that, bad traffic, cleaning it out through our scrubbing centers globally, 9 SOCs around, and also utilization with our partner, ThreatX, as far as the managed API and API protection. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. As I was kind of talking about global peer, carrier agnostic, that's key, right? Carrier agnostic means you can have Lumen circuits, you can have non-Lumen circuits built by Lumen, and you can have third-party circuits built by a completely different carrier. And we're going to still protect it for you, and we're going to do it, spinning it up in minutes from the control center with the easy button. And we're going to allow you to have up to 10 clean traffic paths, right? So one flat rate, 10 clean traffic paths. Like I mentioned, tiered scrubbing architecture. Let's just kind of dive into this conversation a little bit further for ThreatX. Go ahead, Molly. This beautiful framework we've got here? Yeah. Neil, take it away.
Sure thing. No, thank you. And it's a really good kind of like partnership in how we both kind of see things from a secure perspective and positive security posture together. Because Lumen likes to do things very quickly. If you're under attack, they can go ahead and block that DDoS. We kind of take the same approach at ThreatX, but at the application space. So while they can do a great job of scrubbing, cleaning, and protecting you DDoS layer 3 and 4, that's where we partner together. Because when we start looking at application level, we're looking at things like bot risk management, API protection, web application firewalls there. And that's kind of our forte. So we're able to collaborate back and forth together. And we're as well that easy button where you can just hit a button and spin us up immediately and have that application protection ready for you immediately. One of the things that makes us kind of unique, ThreatX versus some of the other players in this space, is that we use this thing called risk-based blocking. So what that really means is that we look for like anomalies in your application traffic. And based off of those anomalies, we'll go ahead and block once we've seen enough nefarious things. So what that kind of means is like, as we perhaps see people move across a kill chain or do more advanced attacks, we aggregate risk quicker. And as they get to a particular risk score, we can go ahead and block these entities. This method is so effective at not having false positives and stopping the bad guy that 95% of our customers use it and love it. And that just kind of goes into the same kind of back and forth that we do back together.
Neil, you said it perfectly. One thing that I think it's really key to that relationship and that collaboration is something we've been doing with ThreatX for a while is basically our quarterly application and DDoS report. What that looks like is it's giving you the ability to see what we're seeing from a vertical perspective in the industries, finance, education, government, you name it, and it's changing rapidly, right? So we're using that, and we're actually also utilizing the bot defense of ThreatX.
It's a really good space, and I love the report and collaborating with y'all on it, because if you're in an industry, or if you're curious, like, how big of a target am I versus like other brethren in my industry, or perhaps like me versus like other verticals in general. This gives us that type of insight so we can make educated decisions as well about what we're going to do and how we're going to prioritize certain things in our security environment.
Absolutely. Thanks, Neil. Molly, can you go to the next slide? So again, this is kind of another nice, clean picture as to why, DDoS hyper mitigation service, the ability, you're under attack, you can spin it up with the easy button. You can basically add the application management, SOC, single pane of glass with ThreatX, and have that additional protection that you need. Even, like I said, when you're under an attack and you're spinning that up in minutes. Neil, I think you want to hit a couple points.
Sure,
as we hand it off to Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of already set this all up, but this is really a great picture here of showing like where the level like 3.4 or layer 3.4 and the layer 7 kind of we work together on these things and being able to collaborate and stop just about any type of attack that your application is going to see. And that's really kind of what our forte is. Our bread and butter, like we say, peanut butter and jelly. When we come together on this stuff, it tastes good. Everybody loves it.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's So, guys, we have a really special guest, and we're excited. We talked about Black Lotus Labs. We talked about our rapid threat defense. We have Ryan English, who's actually one of our senior technical engineers of Black Lotus Labs, to really expand on what we're seeing in our collaboration with the U.S. government, the DoD, and all those other kind of security entities of the U.S. government. Ryan?
Thank you. Evening, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying beverages. I got a question. Who here remembers the Quackbot ransomware botnet? Anybody remember Quackbot? Should see a lot more hands. Quackbot was doing a heck of a job industry-wide last year, just towards the end of the year. One thing about Quackbot that I want to talk about as an example of how rapid threat defense works, Lumen's research team is a combination of individuals doing hands-on research all day, every day, and also another group of researchers who are taking the product of all those individuals' hard work and building that into the machine learning algorithms that automate the rapid threat defense process. Our primary duty at Lumen is to protect Lumen. While we're doing that, everything that we do to protect Lumen ends up feeding into rapid threat defense and protects every single one of our customers the same way we protect ourselves. When it came to Quackbot, we were watching as botnet nodes were forming that we could determine were the C2s of the Quackbot network. Okay, their infrastructure was forming. As we could see connections happening to C2s, we could begin seeing each of their spamming cycles grow. At the beginning of a spamming cycle, we're watching connections happen and new bots being formed. We were feeding new C2s from the IOCs that we could see through the world's most deeply peered network. We could see those IOCs, and we were feeding those C2s into rapid threat defense, in most cases 3 or 4 days ahead of any other publicly available threat feed that you can buy. And I know that because we buy many of those publicly available threat feeds, and it was really validating to see all the research appear days later in the same threat feeds that are informing your firewalls out there in the world. What I'm trying to tell you is that what we were doing in that case and in similar cases is we were protecting ourselves and our customers on a 3-day head start from what anybody else was getting. So spam cycles that were going out to the world and being effective were being blocked all across the entirety of the Lumen network. Traffic to or from those C2s was being null routed or sinkholed all across the Lumen network. Nothing could go to those C2s or leave from those C2s. Now, you may have had an infected device in your environment, but nothing from a C2 would get there to tell it what to do. So it couldn't spread, it couldn't metastasize, it couldn't do any of the things that are going to affect you in a ransomware perspective. We don't only do ransomware, crimeware, we also focus on advanced persistent threats. If you look at the blog, we've been at the leading edge of Soho router botnet discoveries. And if you're looking for how proxy networks work, you look no further than our blog page. We've got probably 7 of the last 8 public blogs about Soho routers and the effect of proxy networks have been done by Lumen. I don't think there's another peer level company like ours that can say that. So the message I'm trying to give you is we're protecting ourselves, and everything we do for us is also being done for you automatically through Rapid Threat Defense. You actually don't have to do any of the work. You'll see that there's a reduction in the amount of work that your firewalls are doing. Massive amount of DDoS blocking, massive amount of botnet blocking. It's all being done before it ever gets to you. And this is a team of researchers that pride themselves on being first to all those things. And I guess that should probably wrap it up. I mean, I could keep going on this all day long since you're talking about proxy networks and Soho stuff, but I thank you guys all for your attention today. And get with us, obviously, read the blogs, and I'll let you go, Brian.
Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate it. That was fantastic. One thing that I did want to call out, well, two things. One, you guys, one of you is going to win a brand new Switch. But what I do want to talk about very quickly is we have just decided to take that rich content, and we're basically in an EA, so basically it's early access with Lumen Defender. It's an amazing, awesome opportunity. If you're Silicon Valley, if you're here, if this is something you're interested in, we're looking to partner with you so that we can actually show you that monitoring capability at the network level before it hits your hardware and your firewall.